Hi, I'm Dr. Victor Dolan, and this is Good Health Naturally. You're on the computer, you're on the internet, you just Googled back pain. You have back pain. That's why you're at this computer. What can I do to help myself? Meaning you, what can you do? Right now, right away, easy, quick, and in the main, very, very helpful. What can you do to help your back pain right now? There's an old analogy, an old acronym, I forget the proper term right now. It used to be RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation. All us old athletes know about RICE. Nowadays the term is PRICE, protection, rest, ice, compression, elevation. Just putting some ice on your back will help you tremendously. So many people come to me and they say, I'm hurting like heck and I don't know what to do. And I've used heat. Most people get hurt by heat. Just putting simple ice on your back or neck or elbow, shoulder, knee, hip, ankle. We all know when we sprain an ankle to put it in ice. We all know we should elevate a body part. There's not really much compression you can do on your back or neck. And protection, don't do whatever it is you just did that hurt yourself. Don't go back to the same position. Don't go back to the same motion. The piano hurt you, don't go back to pick up the piano. Wait till tomorrow or the next day. Use protect, rest, ice, compression, elevation. Use the PRICE formula for your back. Take out a bag of corn or beans from the freezer. Put it on the part that's hurting you, usually the low back, sometimes the neck. If you have certain temperature handling problems, if you're diabetic or if you're very old or very young, temperature is sometimes difficult for our body to handle. But if you don't have those temperature handling problems, if you're a diabetic that can handle hot or cold, and you don't have problems with it, put ice where it hurts. Ice brings down the inflammation. Ice is an analgesic. Ice will help you a lot. So many people come to the chiropractor and they used heat on it, and it helped temporarily. It's an analgesic, but it actually makes the problem worse. The vast majority of people respond to ice, respond quickly. Ice on just 10 or 15 minutes at most, and then off for half an hour or even more. Then back on for 10, 15 minutes. Never directly on bare skin, always through cloth. If I was doing my neck, I'd bring my collar up and put ice through the cloth. If I was doing my low back, I would do it through my shirt or through my underwear. And 10 or 15 minutes at most, half hour off. The rhythm is important. What can you do right now? You know, if you haven't broken a bone or paralyzed yourself, heaven forbid, go to the refrigerator, go to the freezer, and simply get ice. Ice is anti-inflammatory. Ice is analgesic. Ice will help you a lot. Later on today, tomorrow, the next day, if the pain is persisting, go to a healthcare specialist, go to an orthopedist, neurologist, physiatrist, go to your local chiropractor, and get an evaluation, get something more done. Do ice right now, you can help yourself right now. A simple thing, unless you know of some type of contraindication why you can't do it, why you shouldn't do it. I like ice, and most of my patients like ice. Just do ice.